Good morning. Welcome to day 15 of our habit challenge. So yesterday was day 14 bloop, for me with my bread habit. All right, and I gotta get rid of the Sharpie for what comes next. So today we're continuing with Make It Easy. The Atomic Habits book by James Clear has a chapter on the 2-minute rule. I highly recommend picking up the book. And if you don't pick up the whole book, at least read the chapter on the 2-minute rule. It gives some great examples of what we're about to talk about here. In the chapter, there is a famous ballerina by the name of Twyla Tharp. So Twyla Tharp describes her day and her story as waking up, putting on her workout clothes, and goes downstairs, jumps into a cab, and gives the cabbie the address to her gym. So she describes that as being the ritual. Hailing the cab and giving the cab the address to her gym is her ritual. That's her habit. She knows that if she does that, it doesn't matter what she's doing in the gym. Once she gets to the gym, she's going to do a variety of different exercises, right? But simply waking up, putting on her clothes, going downstairs, hailing the cab, and giving it to the address to the gym is her ritual. The author, James Clear, describes a situation in his life where he goes home and one of two things will happen. He either puts on his workout clothes or he sits on the couch and turns on the television. Again, difference between a good evening and a bad evening. Actually, he jokes that he loves both evenings, but one is a good forming of a habit and one not necessarily so, because in one, he goes to the gym with his wife. His wife will put on her gym clothes because he did, and they work out for the evening. And in the other scenario, they turn on the television, they watch The Office, and they order takeout, right? A lot of us have those moments in our lives, right? Those decisive moments. In fact, over 50% of our day is comprised of habits. In fact, if you consider what happens after the decisive moment, even more of your day is comprised of these habits, right? So I either put on my gym clothes and worked out, or I didn't put on my gym clothes and I ate carry out. Both are rituals and both come from the same decisive moment for a habit. That's why we're standing in front of the board here today, right? Because habits are sequential. We talked about this, right? Success is sequential. In business coaching, I often talk with my clients and those that I've coached over the years about what looking at your goals daily can do versus not looking at your goals daily. So if you look at your goals daily and tweak them, or look at them weekly and tweak where you're headed, it's going to give you much different results than you look at it once a month. In fact, I give an example of a flight going across the country, and somebody that is modifying their flight gradually will get to their destination. Whereas if you're off just by 1% as you're going all the way across the country, it could be the difference of landing in Los Angeles versus San Francisco. Quite a significant difference across the country, right? So same thing when you're building your habits and throughout your day, right? You can start with a good decision. So in that moment, in that decisive moment, if you go bad or you go good, it could end up either being a bad day, I gotta find the line, bad day, or a good day, right? And this is all in small decisive moments. So if you make a good decision here, and you go up your good track, and you get to a new spot in your life, you might even make a bad decision here, but again, have the opportunity to make good or bad all along the route. Do you see that? So these decisive moments, when stacked together, like we've talked about with habit stacking in the past, and moment stacking can lead you either between the difference of a good day or a bad day, right? So we're limited where we can go based on the ritual or the habit that got us there, right? So if our ritual is going downstairs and jumping into a cab, we only have a couple of options. Well, we might have a ton of options, but if our ritual for lunch is going outside and finding a restaurant to eat in at work, then whatever restaurant we walk into is going to limit which decisions we can make there, right? I could walk into a steakhouse and get a steak or a salad, or I could walk into a sushi house, get sushi or a salad, right? But I'm not going to be able to get sushi at a steakhouse usually. I mean, some steakhouses have sushi and some pretty good sushi, but that's not really the point. We digress. You want to make your habits and your decisions easy. That's why it's called the 2-minute rule. So if you can create a ritual that is less than 2 minutes, that becomes your habit, then over time, you're going to continue to do that ritual. So we've talked about this a couple of times throughout the 2 weeks that we've been having these videos. If you can just get to the gym, right? Get to the gym each day. In fact, there's a story in the book of a gentleman that went to the gym. His whole goal was to go to the gym and work out for 5 minutes. So he went to the gym, he worked out for 5 minutes. He went to the gym, he worked out for 5 minutes. He went to the gym, he worked out for 5 minutes. Again, going to the gym was the ritual. So once he developed a ritual of going to the gym, after a little while, he said, I'm here anyway. I may as well work out a little bit longer. We talked about Giovanni and waking up and computer programming. And I asked which habit was he trying to form. And in this particular scenario, for the 2-minute rule, the habit might actually be just opening up his computer or turning on his computer and starting to program, right? If I want to write a book and I haven't written any pages yet, the first part of the ritual might be just to write a sentence. And then as that grows, maybe it's a paragraph, and then it's a page, or it's 100 words, right? If my goal is to go running each day, the easy ritual could be just putting on my running shoes. The more difficult ritual would be running a marathon, right? So if I want to put on my running shoes and then run for a minute, put on my running shoes and run for 5 minutes, put on my running shoes and run a mile. Those build on each other. So the 2-minute rule says, make your habit easy to start. Make it easy until it becomes ritual, until it's so automatic that every day you do that starting 1-minute ritual. The habit is getting into the cab, not going to the gym, right? The habit is putting on your run-up shoes. The habit, for me, with this bread habit, I mentioned to you my cues, right? So the bread is kept in the cupboard. It's in the pantry. So if the pantry door is open, I'm tempted. If the pantry door is shut, I don't look in there. So my habit, my ritual right now is every time I walk by the pantry, I don't open the door. And if it's open, I close it. That's my ritual. It's easy to avoid the temptation if I don't see it. So what ritual are you building to make your habit easy today, right? Show up, do your ritual, and I guarantee you'll be successful at the end of the 66 days. So tomorrow we move on to the final behavior law, which is make it rewarding or make it satisfying, depending on which source you're looking at. I look forward to talking about it then. Thanks, everybody. See you then.